Welcome to the Young CPA Success Show. If you're a young accounting professional, this podcast is your ultimate guide to navigating your early career. Join us as we share valuable insights, expert advice, and practical tips to help you kickstart your path to success and excel in the accounting industry. Let's embark on this exciting accounting journey together.
Hey, Hannah.
Hey, Joey.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So we're doing a little shorter format podcast today where we're going to react to some news, something that we both read and have both been thinking a lot about. But before we do that, talk to me about the coffee situation at your house.
Listen, I am the only one in my house who drinks coffee. So I get to be as specific as I want to be, as creative as I want to be, and have to pay no mind to what anybody else wants in my house. So my coffee of choice and what's in my cup this morning is I always reach for Cafe Bustelo. It is my espresso style coffee of choice every day. I make it with half and half stevia. And this morning, I got a little wild and put some hazelnut skinny syrup in my coffee. So I'm living life on the wild side this Friday.
Oh, so you're just leaning all into the August vibe, which I said this the other
Yes.
day to someone. I don't know if they believed it, but it's like August is for getting ready for fall.
Yes. I got my
Like in
fall
my mind, like,
decorations out last weekend,
yeah.
so I feel like very much leaning into we are fall is upon us. That's what I'm doing.
hmm
I'm willing fall upon us here in the South at least.
We had like that nice little, when I went on my run this morning, it was like a nice little, there was just that little hint of the crispness,
I love it. It's my favorite.
which, as a bigger dude, I do enjoy, that Christmas in the air because it's like, man, I'm not going to be hot
Mhm.
first time in like 3 months.
So
So
what's in your cup, Joey?
first off, I'm in my fancy mug. Shout out to my wife, who
I
is
like your
the
fancy mug.
of all things home decor in our household, and she found this at like a farmer's market here in Albuquerque, and
Oh,
just we
that's so
love
fun.
my fancy mug when I feel like drinking fancy coffee. So I go pretty simple on the coffee. I don't like a ton of stuff with it. This is just black coffee, kind of a light to medium roast. We do two things on the coffee situation here. We are avid Beanbox subscribers, so we have a Beanbox that comes. We have gone through our Beanbox. It is on its way to us, so we don't have any fresh samples from other places. So this is my go-to local coffee from Cutbo Coffee in Albuquerque. Shout out to you, Paul Gallegos. This is not a sponsored thing. I'm just a fan. What he does is he every quarter does a brand new blend. So he's got a spring blend, a summer blend, a fall blend, and a winter blend that he changes with the seasons. It's all roasted in house, and it's about a mile away from where I live, from this office
Oh,
right
I
here. So
love that. And first of all, I feel like I need more information on this bean box. I didn't know there was such a thing. So you're
uh,
gonna have to get me a link, Joey. You've
oh,
influenced
we can
me.
get you a link to the Beanbox, and what it is it's a subscription coffee service. They send like little, like, I don't know, 3-4 cup sample packs of, like, you can, from all over the country. You can probably get some from all over the world. You choose what style you like. So if you like a light or a medium or a dark roast, you can kind of tweak your palate from that perspective, and they just send you fun samples. It's really cool.
That's really awesome. I love it.
Well, Hanny, let's dive into our topic for the day, and I'm going to start it by asking you a question.
First, before you ask this question, let me preface this to our audience. Joey and I also coming into these shorts are not having a conversation ahead of this. This
hmm
is for our audience, us genuinely just having a conversation about this topic in terms of what comes top of mind for us,
hmm
what we've seen, our experiences, who we've talked to, and just sharing that with all of you. So this is truly kind of like a blind react. Like, hey, like we have between us determined what the topic's going to be, but then in terms of the actual meat of the subject, no conversation around it. So,
with Without further ado, here we go. Hannah, is AI coming for my job?
I think that a lot of us could get really scared about AI based on everything that we hear about its potential, for sure. And I think that it's probably natural for us to like feel a little bit of fear whenever we think about AI and the potential that it
Hmm.
has. Because I mean, there's some things that I've heard that AI could do and the potential of what it could do that I'm like, that's kind of scary, about its potential. Um, but if you're asking me, I don't think so. I don't think that AI could ever replace human connection. I don't think it could ever replace that piece and that value, especially for us as we lean into what we do for our clients. However, what I think it will do for us is automate more of the technical skills of what we do as accountants. So we're going to have to lean harder into our own internal skills and developing ourselves personally and
Hmm.
professionally in ways that we probably haven't had to really worry about before up to this point. What's your take on it?
So I don't know if you remember this. It's been about a decade, but there was a moment where IBM, this was in like 2010, 2011, they were working on getting their computer, Watson, on Jeopardy. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yes.
So when that was going on, I was in an accounting class at Kansas State University, and it was like the higher level, like capstone theory based accounting class with a guy named Dan Dinas. Shout out to you, Dan Dinas. You were fantastic. But in that class, we had to give a speech about something that was going to change the accounting industry. And I wrote about Watson because I was thinking about it from an audit perspective. The way audits are done, you're going to sit there and you're going to go and do testing, right? You're going to say, we have 100 transactions. We're going to test 10 of them. We're going to get a representative sample and we're just going to test this. Because the theory has been there's absolutely no way a human is going to be able to test all of these different things. So we have to take a sample. It's the only way it's going to work. And what I wrote about was machine learning and AI, and how even a decade ago it was starting to transform things, because if you can get an AI or human machine learning type thing to start learning about connections, learning how to do the vouching and those types of things that you do in an audit, you can now expand your sample size and feel quite a bit better about the results of your audit. But to your point, what the computer is not going to be able to tell you is what the results of that sampling means.
Hmm.
If we get to that point, we've got much bigger problems than you and I losing our jobs, because we've probably had an AI machine that's passed the Turing test, and there's all the sci-fi that you could possibly see that's going to tell you the bad things that could potentially come from that. And that's a whole different rabbit hole for a whole different podcast. But to your point, where I think this is going to change is the lowest, I don't want to say the lowest level, but like the on the pyramid of functions, right? Your transactional based functions in an accounting system. So many more of those are going to be pushed to machines, where those younger people who are coming up, the entry level type jobs, are going to be less. Do you know how to do a rev rec? And more, do you know how to program your AI so that it can give you the rev rec
Hmm.
or give you the bank rec or give you any type of like function that you're doing? And the rub on that is that you are going to have to learn how to interpret those skills and interpret those results and figure out what they mean, and then, to your point, communicate it up the chain to your superiors.
Absolutely. I think I saw an article floating around where AI had essentially taken the CPA exam. I think in the first iteration it had not passed the CPA exam, but I'm almost certain I saw that there was an iteration of AI that had passed the CPA exam.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, that is really wild that that's the point that we've gotten to with AI. It also made me think too in terms of how we actually implement AI and the effects that it has on our industry and on our daily in our daily lives, and especially for people who are in the tax industry. Like
Mm-hmm.
could we be on the horizon of a busy season that isn't 60 plus hours a week by implementing AI and then
God, I
having
hope so.
like what I feel like that is all that's a possibility. And I know we had a really awesome conversation yesterday with Robert Minkler, and just even for me as a female, in the season of raising my kids, how those hours for me, like I walked away from the industry for for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons being is I couldn't commit those kind of hours whenever my
Hmm.
husband's a teacher and a coach, and he's gone for I'm essentially a single mom in football and baseball season. So, I just couldn't commit that kind of hours in a busy season. So that really played a role in the trajectory of my career up to this point.
Hmm.
So could AI benefit us in a positive way in that regard? I hope so. I hope that's where we're headed with this, and that people are embracing the automated piece of what AI could bring to our industry.
Yeah, it's I think just like anything else, it's going to enhance the value that CPAs can provide. And it doesn't surprise me that an AI was able to pass the CPA exam, because a lot of what I remember from the CPA exam is it's a lot of, can you remember the information? Can you remember the steps? And I know they've been working on adjusting the CPA exam to try to get it to be a little bit more analytical in nature.
Mhm.
I know those changes are coming. I don't think they're there yet.
I think they're
And
changing BEC as of next year,
hmm
for a
hmm
lot of that reason. So yeah, it's definitely coming.
right. And that's the type of thing where, to your point, I think there's two things that you mentioned earlier that AI is not going to be able to replicate. It's not going to be able to replicate human connection, and I think it's still, we're a long ways away from AI being able to maybe make a lot more of the cognitive type
Hmm.
connections that humans make. AI is really, really good at forward computation stuff. Like, it's
Hmm.
why for it's been 50 years since the first computer beat a human in chess, but it's because the computational power of a computer was able to run all the scenarios in a way that a human couldn't,
Hmm.
in that regard, in faster and more real time. The thing that I think is going to be really important for young CPAs as you're starting to come out, if you're in college and you're starting to think about what you want to do with your career, or if you're young in your career and you're starting to figure out, like, yeah, I need to know what skills to have, start working really, really, really hard on your soft skills. Work on your
Absolutely.
storytelling, work on your presentation, work on, human connection and building connections with coworkers and clients. And we've got a book that we read that was all given to us. This is the soft skills book by our friend Dan White. So we're going to post a link in the bio, by the way, to a great interview that we did on the virtual CPA Success Show, one of our other um, podcasts here that we have in the Anders house. And we talked with Dan a few months ago, and I think it's been out for a few months, but it was really enlightening to hear. Well, first off, he was a really nice guy. We really enjoyed the conversation. But secondly, it was great to hear him talk about how he envisions his book being used practically by people. He's like, I want it to just be a guide. Like, if you don't know how to start off a presentation, or you don't know how to do a certain thing that you need, and you need some help with the soft skills, it's right there in the book for you to take a look at. And that's one that I just highly, highly recommend everybody check out and add to your tool belt of resources.
I really love that, Joey. Going into talking more about those soft skills, I know for some people that is very natural. It's just leaning in and just working a muscle that some people already have.
Mhm.
Some people don't naturally have that muscle. So you've got to put in some intentional work into learning more about those soft skills, developing those soft skills. And you've got to lean into getting uncomfortable. It's probably
Mhm.
going to be uncomfortable to flex and use that muscle that those soft skills require you to use and to practice. And that's okay. And then there's going to be times throughout your career, even if you are an expert and a pro at soft skills, times in your career where it's still going to be uncomfortable and you're still going to have to learn and to grow through those uncomfortable situations. But you've, again, got to be intentional about doing that. And the introduction of AI and the potential where our industry is going as a result of that really, really leans hard on us taking the time and intentionality of doing that.
I saw something the other day that really resonates with that, and it was, I can't remember if it was a LinkedIn post or something. It was something on social media where it says the first time you do anything is not going to be any good, but you can't have 100th time until you have a first time. So it's never too early, like you said, to start working on that. And I mean, I didn't have any soft skills until college. I had to go to Kansas State, which was 1,000 miles away from home, and I knew absolutely no. I think I knew two people in the entire university when I went there, and you start picking up stuff pretty quickly because you have to. Not saying everybody has to do something that drastic, like move 1,000 miles away from home, but you can never, the best time to start learning how to do this was yesterday. And the second best time is today. So, I like what you said, lean into it, be okay with the uncomfortableness, and know that with that growth mindset, like if you fail the first time, that's okay, because you're not going to fail on your 100th time. Everybody fails on their first time.
Absolutely. And in that, I think you'll find people along your career who will mentor you in this regard too, who you can look to. I can think of people all throughout my career that I've looked to, like I've watched and just observed how they interact with people, just how they interact with their coworkers, just in general, that I've taken so much just from observation of people who do it well, that I can then apply and make it my own and really own it for myself and take that with me all throughout my career. So definitely, as you're starting in your career, look for those people. It doesn't even have to be necessarily somebody that you reach out to and say, "Hey, will you be my mentor?" Like, even though I think that would be really amazing, I think it's also okay to just find people. Maybe it's via a podcast, maybe it's on TikTok, maybe it's through social media, whatever that is, but just observe what they're doing and make it your own. I think that's another great way that you can lean into your soft skills and develop your soft skills, as well as, like you said, books. Like that's such a great resource, and you just gave us a really great one to be able to take that into our own hands and learn from it.
So to recap, Hannah, what I think that we've gotten to today is that AI is not going to take away our jobs, but it's certainly going to change our jobs moving forward.
Absolutely.
And there's certainly some opportunities here for young CPAs in particular to stand out from their peers if they wanted to kind of lean into certain things. There's resources out there. There's lots of stuff that's available. And that's a great opportunity for that young CPA to kind of grow in their career outside of just the transactional nature of the work. That's going to be more the future than what it is currently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, moving forward, we're hoping to do so many more of these in the future. So if you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, go ahead and shoot us a response at the social media platform of your choice, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find us there. You can send emails to our email address at youngcpasuccessshow@anderscpa.com. We're going to have a link to this book in the bio so that you can see that there. We're also going to have a link to the podcast where we talked to Dan in the bio, because he was fantastic and we had a wonderful conversation with him. Hannah, thank you so much for bringing the wonderful topic to the chat today. Enjoy the rest of your cup of coffee, and we're looking forward to catching y'all next time.
Awesome. See you later.
If you're a young CPA looking to develop in their careers, we're always looking for great people. Visit our website for remote work opportunities with Summit Virtual CFO, or find all our open positions at Anders CPAs and Advisors.